of these matches than Rangers. So they are cyclical turns, but it's been a long wait for the Celtic fans. And Jörg Albertz has added to their gloom. 2.5 games for Celtic against Rangers so far this season, not a goal to show. And Andy, in all honesty, not much of a sight of goal for Celtic, despite plenty of midfield possession so far tonight.
Yeah, I think I agree with Charlie. I think that I've never, in the games that I've seen this year, between them, seen the back three as untroubled as they've been for Rangers. I also think that part of the problem, Martin, with the midfield three that Celtic have got, in Hannick, Stay and Donnelly, is the fact neither of the three of them have ever got past the front two yet. If you're facing a back three and you've got to shift them somehow, either the front two have got to do it, or else someone's got to put in runs from midfield. Neither of those three have done that up till now. And I think that's where Phil O'Donnell's forte is. It's making forward runs. It's been a box-to-box player. He's not changed it, Tommy Burns. Phil O'Donnell is still on this left-hand side. So it's as you are for both sides as we start the second half.
Here's Ferguson. And the good news for Rangers fans is that Davy Robertson has reported for duty for the second half. He's not 100%. Gascoigne, as we've told you, is suffering with the flu. One or two others. Also keeping Walter Smith waiting before he could announce tonight's team. And Stubbs, one of the players booked in the first half, and he's got to be careful with the timing of his tackling.
And when he comes in at the back of McCoist, I think in any other league in the world, that would be a free kick, yes, and it would also be a yellow card.
Well, it's a mandatory decision with a tackle from behind. Referees shouldn't be given the discretion. According to the letter of their instructions, Stubbs survives. Gascoigne. He's played understandably within himself, without ever being on the peripheries of the match. And of course, he's never been on the losing side against Celtic. If that's to happen tonight, we're in for a dramatic change around in the second half. No signs of it so far. Finally, DiCanio, the player that they want to see working in the other half of the pitch, is the one to make the decisive move close to his own goal to clear the danger. Albertz. Robertson.
Yeah, they're looking for offside. They certainly thought that Robertson was offside when the ball was played through to him.
Well, the second goal for Celtic, even at this relatively early stage, and you begin to wonder how Celtic could save the game. Albertz takes. Right into a ruck of players attacking the ball. Stuart Kerr stayed on his line.
He's got a bit of view, actually. He got his head to the ball. Plenty of players went in. Ian Ferguson's the one who ends up getting a head to it.
Well won by Gascoigne. Stubbs. O'Donnell pressed by Cleland, and that forced Boyd into a hurried movement against Craig Moore. Cleland's there again. Now Donnelly. Needs a bit of help, but his own skill helped him out of a tightish corner then. It's very difficult for Cadet and DiCanio without midfield support in advanced areas. Celtic, obviously, with this note of caution that we've mentioned after being suckered by Rangers in previous games in recent times, they're sticking to the shape aligned by Tommy Burns and Billy Stark in their pre-match preparation. And I suppose since it wasn't changed at half-time, you feel that they're happy to at least make sure they don't concede a second and pick up the tempo as the match draws to its close. But it's Robertson from McCoist, who was onside. I'm sure Celtic would have agreed with that, but the flag stayed down.
Well, again, it's Robertson who causes the problems, Martin. How often he's done that tonight? Not by going wide, but by driving infield. Certainly a question about offside. You can see what McCoist was trying to do. Looked up, just trying to chip it over the goalkeeper.
Gascoigne illuminating the match with his skill and not really doing exactly the same with his show of temper. He's been pretty much in control in the first half. He's got his free kick.
It's a lovely run. I think he's played well tonight, man. He said he's feeling under the weather. There's doubts about his fitness. And I think he's had a good game.
This is Cleland.
I'm just looking down at the bench and Van Hooydonk's tracksuit's coming off, Martin. So I think within the next 4 or 5 minutes, that's the first change.
And here's O'Donnell playing it forward from central midfield. Cameron tidies up. Now, where's O'Donnell going to go now?
He's just trotting back over his position.
He is, yeah. I wonder whether... Now he's getting a message from Hannah, but he's still concentrating on the left side of things. That's Di Canio.
Slacking bodies, see. And there they've got Di Canio's is hooking it in, and only one player. And the one thing about O'Donnell is he does make runs into the box.
Headed down by Hannah. Never even been to watch an Old Firm game. Here he is playing in one. Brought down by Moore, who is another of the names in Jim McCluskey's book in the first half. Free kick already taken. Donnelly. Losing out to Alberts, who's shrugged him aside. McCoist goes left of centre to collect the pass. Alberts has continued his run. And as you might expect, David Robertson with 3 goals for the club in December, looking for more since the year has turned.
That was a great run, Martin. He must have been 20, 30 yards behind Alberts when he won the ball.
Björklund. Ball coming when Simon Donnelly was caught in possession. Stubbs. Now O'Donnell. Celtic, who make progress in the other matches against other rivals in this division, but it's like running into a brick wall when they come up against Rangers. Gascoigne. Good tracking back by Hannah against Cleland. Cadet, now Di Canio. Running beyond McLaren, but another player as well.
Here comes Van Hooydonk, Martin.
It's Donnelly who's coming off. Well, Pierre Van Hooydonk has had too much publicity, really, for his off-the-field dispute with the club, where he wants an improved contract. It may be time for him to go and get the right sort of publicity for the club. He's unhinged Rangers before. Now, what sort of adjustment is that going to make?
We had a word with Di Canio. I don't know whether they're just going to drop him a touch deeper, whether they're just going to go, okay, let's try and test you, let's force more blue shots back, let's play 3 up front.
And maybe 3 in midfield and a back 4.
That will be. Tom Boyd's edging over towards this side. That's a free kick, no doubt. But Tom Boyd's edging to the left-back area. Phil O'Donnell's now got a more central position. And it might be that Paolo Di Canio, Martin, will play sort of left side, but certainly not tied to the left side. He'll be given the freedom to go and join the front two, I'm sure.
Well, it's a change that strikes a positive note. And that's what Celtic badly need. First of all, they have to defend Gascoigne's free kick, which actually doesn't trouble them at all. The Rangers were pretty unambitious in the number of players they pushed forward themselves.
Amazing, isn't it? 36, 35 minutes to go in a football match. Free kick in the last third of the pitch. hardly showed an interest. Neither of the back three, all good in the air, showed any interest in going forward for it.
And they've got to be careful, Rangers, because if they stop occupying Celtic, they're just going to draw them on, and, well, it's just a 1-0 lead. Cullen gets back. Ferguson is there strongly. In went McStay. Still McStay.
Well, the run was there to be admired. Just couldn't put the shot in. Well, that's what's needed. Wins the ball well and then just makes a straight line. Lovely diagonal run. Skips past one, skips past McLaren. Just when he needed a little bit of composure, just lost it slightly.
But the captain setting the right kind of example. And the New Year honour he would really appreciate would be the honour of scoring an equaliser at Ibrox tonight. Confirmed at just over 50,000. More messages being passed to Craig Moore this time. Down there by the touchline and within earshot. You have to be pretty close to be heard by the coaching staff shouts. Here's Gascoigne. Celtic starting to get a little bit more fired up, as if the presence of an extra attacker has signalled a sort of return to their natural cavalier instincts. Cleland, Moore, it's given away rather cheaply, or is it? It was a miss kick that was lucky, it reached McCoist, ran beyond Hannah. Robertson.
Well, it looked an easy save, didn't it? But Andy Gorham's looked just as easy as it bounced in front of him from the free kick in the first half, and he spilled it. And this just does about the same. The fiercest shot, just skips up. All about concentration there.
Cadet. Oh, it's a mistake by Björklund. Di Canio. Looking more promising for Celtic here. They've got plenty of players in the centre. Di Canio, though, certainly able to take it behind. Björklund could have cleared. And suddenly there was a posse of players on the scene for Celtic.
And they opened up just to get it across goal. I thought he had an opportunity there with both Van Hooydonk and Cadet in positions to receive across, but he ignored them. And just overran it. It was noticeable there, Martin, that Phil O'Donnell got involved, high up the pitch for the first time.
Rangers, really for the first time in the match, looking a little rattled. McStay. Celtic have got to up the tempo. They're trying to do that. Di Canio. Earlier ball this time. Van Hooydonk! Good stop by Gorham. It was a terrific header.
That was a great header. Björklund was waiting for the ball. Van Hooydonk wasn't. He gets in front of the defender. Super header. Good save from Gorham. That's the threat he poses.
Well, the Celtic fans will feel that this is more like it. Di Canio with the corner.
Well, I thought that was a Gascoigne header, I have to say.
And
now he's changed his mind.
He has changed his mind.
I thought Paul Gascoigne got his head to this and cleared it. He did. Initially points for a goal kick. See it there.
Very important phase of the game, this. Rangers losing some of their first half composure. Celtic forcing it away from them, perhaps. O'Donnell. Time really for players on both sides to stand up and be counted now. And here's Cleland. And Robertson with another run from a different channel this time. And Celtic, who were pressing with corners of their own, now have to defend one.
Well, that's what they're always going to be careful from now, Celtic, isn't it? We saw it at Celtic Park recently when they had under tremendous pressure how quickly Rangers broke and got at them.
Off the head of Petric, back by Moore. Wondering whether it was going out. Albert's charging in. It clearly had crossed the line. This young goalkeeper whose original contract ends at the end of the season. There's been interest, not surprisingly, in his services, but he wants to stay at the club. And I'm sure a new deal will be hammered out for that to happen. Robertson. Now Alberts. Half an hour to go. It's all in the last half an hour, 7 weeks ago. And the game had exactly the same situation. Celtic pursuing, gaps opening up, and Rangers, notably Van Vossen, who is a substitute so far unused tonight, with the miss of many a season. Good tracking back by Gascoigne. Scott Boyd's cross getting in. So
sorry, Mark, from Rangers being comfortable, Tommy Burns' changes have given them a problem or two. They've certainly benefited from them, Celtic.
Boyd. Aiming for Cadet. Stubbs to Boyd. Front man reposition. Boyd's got a decent angle for a cross that's defended calmly and capably by Petric. Moore, the Australian. Cleland trying to take it at full tilt. Gascoigne just looking at the bench and flexing that right side.
Well, if he's feeling flow, Mark, feeling flow, it's about now when the legs might just start to go. And that's an area where they can't afford to be carrying anyone. I think it's something that Walter Smith will have to look at carefully. Paul Gascoigne's fitness next 5 or 6 minutes.
Quick throw from Celtic after Robertson's legs had gone in a slightly different sense. Over on that far touchline. The gap for O'Donnell to exploit when the original throw came in. Van Hooydonk back with McStay in that holding position again. Stubbs not deep enough. McStay to pick it off once more. Stop Rangers getting out of their own half. O'Neill. Now Hannah. Cadet came to him quite quickly. Hannah. And Hooydonk claiming he was fouled. Play on, says Jim McCluskey. My impression, Andy, was that the Dutchman was looking for something and he didn't get it. Here's Gascoigne, looking for the sort of break that led to a second goal in the earlier match here this season, which came after Celtic were pressing it. It actually hit the frame of the Rangers goal at the other end. Did Celtic have a case?
I didn't think so. I agreed with you. I thought the ball had cleared both Van Hooydonk and I think it's Petric. Nah, was it Bjorklund? Nah, I think he just stands his ground, the defender on the edge of the box.
But it's a different Celtic at the moment.
Well, just looking down again, Charlie Miller has got tracksuit bottoms off, Martin in the dugout. I wonder if they're concerned about maybe Paul Gascoigne's legs, his fitness. They're pointing over to him, they're asking him. He's knackered, that's what he's saying. He can't get any breath.
Well, it's been a noble effort to put this much in. McStay. Back to Boyd. Van Hooijdonk pulling away to the far post. Others in there as well. There was Di Canio behind Van Hooijdonk initially. Hanna then has the shot.
What a save that was, Martin.
Again, Andy Gorham shuts out Celtic.
What a save this is. This is pure instinct. It's a great ball in, and they've got presence and they've got players. He doesn't even use his arms or his body. He actually kicks it away. Incredible. What reactions.
It's O'Neill up the highest. But they were looking for Van Hooijdonk. Di Canio came in behind. The ball bounced down, and Andy Gorham, well, rewrote the goalkeeping manual.
It's just reactions, isn't it? He probably couldn't have got there. Did Cadet have half a chance as it came back off? Did it just hit him? Yeah, just hits him in the head.
Well, Paul Gascoigne, not a well man, comes off with Rangers still in a healthy situation, but their condition being put to the test, and Charlie Miller comes on to try and stem the flow if he can, which is coming through the midfield towards the Rangers goal.
Well, if the back three looked very comfortable in the opening 45 minutes of this match, they've looked anything but in this second half, particularly since Tommy Burns has made the change.
O'Neill, Di Canio. We've seen this situation so often.
You read my mind. And that's why mentally it's as much a problem for Celtic. You feel, Mark, they've got to believe they can score.
Boyd. Van Hooijdonk. Cadet. Di Canio. They have scored! That's what it means to Tommy Burns. And to all connected with Celtic. Well, they've hammered away and they've broken through.
What a really cool finish he showed there, Di Canio. It's lovely football. He plays it well here, Van Hooijdonk to Cadet. They think they've got the tackle in. That's a cool finish. Gorham goes to ground and he just slips it underneath his body. Comes charging out. Just watch the way he slips it under Gorham. One touch to control it. The second under the goalkeeper. Game on.
A quarter of the game to go. And after the joy, Tommy Burns came down to earth pretty quickly, and he was getting messages on to his players just to be calm, tapping the side of his head as if to say, use your brains now. Don't let emotion totally take over. 1-1. Well, that's a painful welcome to the action O'Donnell inflicted on Charlie Miller.
You would have thought that, all right. Trouble is, Rangers have been defending for so long. Celtic are certainly on the up. It's difficult to turn that around.
Clearance was by Di Canio. Van Hooijdonk with a Rangers player. Alberts it is down. Play was then stopped for a free kick in Celtic's favour, but pandemonium is breaking out here. There's a suggestion too that Celtic's celebrations were deemed too excessive by Jim McCluskey.
Well, we don't quite see what went on there. And that was a free kick given there. Celtic wanted to get on with it. Ball's played away.
That should have been a booking for Björklund for kicking the ball away. They seem to have different interpretations this side of the border. McStay. So they've got the better of Andy Gorham in an old firm clash, and it's the first goal, of course, that Celtic have scored against Rangers this season. No wonder they're thrilled about it, and they're looking for more. The flag's gone up as the ball spirals forward for offside against Paolo Di Canio, who could have been the player singled out by Jim McCluskey for celebrating too excessively. He went right into the crowd. Well, that's one of the laws that I have no sympathy with at all, made by people who've never ever scored goals in their lives. Certainly not at this level where it means absolutely everything. Here comes Petric. And McCoist is, in the context of this game, miles offside.
Well, if Charlie Miller could have just held it, Martin, taken a touch. Albertz had made a great run on the outside. You watch Albertz come at the top of the screen. There he goes. If Miller had gotten a hold of the ball, well, he was there to be fed in.
Bit of nail-biting for Walter Smith. Eric Bow Anderson adjusting the tracksuit behind the manager.
One or two tired legs out there, Martin, in blue jerseys.
Well, there are all sorts of factors for that. The hectic holiday programme, even taking into account the bad weather that saw Rangers game postponed on Saturday. Also the flu bug that's in both camps. The fact that the number of players have only recently come back from injuries, but the frowns are with the league leaders now. Well, can Celtic do here tonight what they did at Aberdeen when they were a goal down and hit back to win 2-1? They've got the best part of 20 minutes, and they've got Tom Boyd on the ball. Miller. Boyd should have got it back, did in the end, but made it a bit more difficult than it needed to be. Here's Di Canio, running to the left is Cadet. And Robertson has to concede the corner.
Well, he did the right thing. He had Di Canio coming behind him. He wasn't sure about the knock back to the goalkeeper. Di Canio keeps running from there. One or two spaces beginning to open. Front men are making runs and getting some joy.
Oh, this is balanced right on the break. Albertz. He gets it upfield as far as McNamara. Good challenging by McCoist. Tommy Barnes all of a tingle. And Celtic certainly have the initiative. Can they seize the points as well? Stubbs. Oh, the sheer presence of Van Hooydonk is giving Celtic something different to aim at. He's already had one tremendous header.
He's doing well, Martin, because he's pulling on Bjorklund and Davy Robertson, not the biggest.
Di Canio. McStay. Rangers try and close him down in the shape of Ferguson. Di Canio's crossed the ball, looping up. Robertson can't do anything more than help it on its way behind. A succession of crosses and corners into that Rangers penalty area. Clears. Di Canio. Well, the corner count rises. These are nerve-wracking times for Rangers.
And they want a better corner. This is the third one, Mark, but neither of the previous two have really have enough quality to trouble Rangers. Hardly cleared the edge of the 6-yard box. They want to put something in here where these players can go and attack.
Well, it goes back to McNamara. McCoist sticks out the toe. Here's Hannah, the new boy. Di Canio. It's got to be touched away for a corner again by McLaren.
That was a better gets a ball. Towards the front, yeah, it's a much better ball. Gives McLaren a problem.
Celtic fans in the stadium having a great view of all this at that end of the ground. All sorts of pushing and shoving going on around the penalty spot. Let's stay. Back to the corner taker, Di Canio. And where's that going to drop? Under Gorham's bar, he opts to fist it down. Obviously felt he couldn't get it up and over for another corner. That stops. Cleland can't get out, but at least the ball's rebounded out of play off McStay. And Walter Smith is going to bring on Eric Bow Anderson, who's got blistering pace and may just help Rangers counter-attack. Also, Peter Van Bossen's coming on as well. So Craig Moore and Ali McCoyster replaced. So that's the full set of substitutions for Rangers. 15 minutes or so left on the clock. Well, those two were very threatening in the latter stages of the last game as counter-attackers, the Dutchman and the Dane.
They need to get some way they can get a breather, the back lot of Rangers, Mark, because they've just been under enormous pressure for the last 15-20 minutes. The only way you can really relieve that is by getting people up, get hold of it, and that's what probably is in Walter Smith's thinking.
Well, that's one way to relieve a bit of pressure, get a free kick, take a bit of time over it. It's been so quiet around Stuart Kerr for the best part of 20 minutes or so now. It's all been Celtic. It's produced the equaliser. Cadet. Sensibly by Petric. Here's Robertson. He's still full of running. On from Alberts. Good positioning from Boyd, tucking in from left back as he's now playing in a back four. Ian Ferguson made a decisive move to get that ball that was in the air a long time, with others standing still around it. And the Rangers fans very anxious. Cleland. Here's Van Bossen. It's a hard game to attune to the pace of, arriving from the bench.
Well, once again, it's Celtic who dominated the action areas. I'm sure they're ahead in possession, I've no doubts of that.
But the difference tonight is that they've got something from their possession. Yeah. And they want more. Cleland. Here's Cadet. Van Hooijdonk. Robertson forming the outlet for Rangers, and he was pursued all the way by the long stride of Van Hooijdonk and forced Robertson to knock it out of play. Stops. To see what he was trying to do, but it was by no means a good attempt to get the ball up and beyond the Rangers midfield towards the run of Di Canio. Do you think, Andy, now it's an amazing game this psychologically as well as in other senses? One or two Celtic players will be thinking about, hang on a minute, we've got a goal here, we're level. Should we just rein it in a little bit. Here's Van Vossen.
I think not, Martin. I think as it stands, this is a better point for Rangers in the context of the Premier League than it is for Tommy Burns' team. And I think if Tommy thinks his team go and win it, he'll be saying, let's go and win this.
Well, they've not beaten Rangers since May of '95 in a game that's always described as meaningless because Rangers were already champions. There's plenty of meaning here tonight. They trying to provide plenty of muscle in there as well against Van Vossen. McLaren charged down by Cadet. Van Hooijdonk. And Björklund interposing himself. It was a right old tangle in the end. And Van Hooijdonk couldn't free himself of the attentions of Joachim Björklund and stride on to give Celtic what they were craving for.
It was Björklund's speed, Mark, that was so important. Hooijdonk had about a yard start on him. Björklund got back in, got his body between Van Hooijdonk and the ball. And I think Van Vossen was happy about that because he played a nightmare ball to Alan McLaren.
Miller. Shouldn't rule out the possibility, of course, of Rangers coming up with another goal, although they've hardly threatened. But here's Eric Bo Anderson. Corner.
No, that had to be well timed, didn't it? Good tongue from Bo Anderson here, and as he comes across, that's got to be timed perfectly, that tackle.
David Hanna did just that. It's Petric. That's Van Vossen. Headed back a long way by McLaren. Miller. And Petric. Now Di Canio, and great agitation on the Rangers bench as the ball was given away and Celtic given the chance and the room to come forward here. Cadet, Di Canio, and it's all over intricate between the two of them.
That was all. Too neat.
Van Hooijdonk was fancying some glory. There's a misplaced pass by Van Vossen.
It really put McLaren into his problem, but look at the way Björklund got back. It was a tussle. It was a good battle between the two. And then difficult to pick the free kick out of that part.
Björklund did his job. He did it very well indeed. Well, this is an interesting change. Alan Stubbs comes off. And Andres Tom, who's been suffering with a back problem recently. Not fit enough in terms of recent match practice to start the game. Like Hanna's gone into the back line.
It has, yeah.
Well, here's Alberts, and here's Anderson! Rangers back in front, 7 minutes to go. Suicide for Celtic.
And yet again, a wonderfully cool finish in a white-hot atmosphere. Just like Paolo Di Canio, the bounce there beats Jackie McNamara. But he wasn't tempted with the shot. He was so aware of Bo Anderson's position. And that was a super slot. So like Di Canio's, so aware of the goalkeeper's position, and tucks it beautifully into the corner. No problem for McNamara. The bounce just deceives him. Might have been tempted to shoot Alberts, but he knew Anderson was in a better position.
Well, Rangers have hardly threatened the entire second half. Walter Smith has come up with a substitution to delight the management and to change the course of the game and put the season, he will hope, back on track. And Celtic must be absolutely stunned. They've contributed so much to the second half and they're behind again. who's made it happen. Eric Bo Anderson. Others streaming forward in support.
I don't think Walter Smith would be too happy, but the others streaming forward, Mark. They have 3v3 at the back.
Tom. Rangers determined not to be caught in possession there. Van Vossen. Well, Alberts, who scored so early, has set up a second so late. Rangers, you have to hand it to them. They haven't had a second half to remember in any other sense, except that they're back in front.
And the 3v3 at the back again, Martin. That seems crazy to me.
Tom to the feet of Di Canio. That's beyond any chance of Van Hooijdonk of reaching it. Well, is this the moment that's wrapped it up for Rangers?
I mean, it's a nothing free kick, and they deal with it quite well here. The fatal mistake was McNamara allowing it bounce. But from there, that's a lovely finish from the slider. Lovely finish. We talk about managers earning their money, Martin. Both have contributed with decisions they've had to make to this second half. Tommy Burns' decision to bring on Van Hooijdonk and change the shape of his team, got his side back into the game. And then Walter Smith's just as crucial decision to bring on two fresh sets of legs.
Oh, it's O'Donnell. Can he got past one who was the slipping and slithering McLaren. But there was help for Rangers behind him. Out comes Gorham to fist away the corner. McNamara to surely knock it straight back in, which he does. That's Phil O'Donnell. And connect, but there's no goal. Flags up.
Flags up. That was a lovely spinning shot. Linesman's flag was up very quickly. Ball comes back out from here. Oh, I tell you what.
That's not offside.
That is not offside. That is not offside. The header down, the control was good, the decision wrong.
Minutes to go. And Celtic, when they see that replay, will be livid. Crucial moment was when O'Donnell made contact with the header, and at that moment
Cadet was level.
Cadet was in a legitimate position, but it's no goal. Di Canio. McStay.
Half a chance for Paul McStay. I've seen him score from that sort of range. There's no doubt he's got a lot of players to go past here. There's no problem with that. Ball's played beautifully back to him. Never over the top of the ball.
Andy, your thoughts about the man of the match tonight?
I've always said in this match it's always difficult to pick an individual. I think there's one from the minute it's gone, minute it started, from start to now, has been David Robertson. Has been the most impressive, I feel. He's my man of the match.
Oh, and got a bit nervy then. Not through any proximity of any opponent, but in his desire to get Celtic forward. Break on here. Can Rangers really wrap it up? It's Eric Bo Anderson again. A sensational appearance from the substitute. And no wonder Walter Smith embroils himself in the celebration. He has taken the game totally away from Celtic. It's 3-1.
Well, I have to say, Mark, Alberts is certainly playing his part in this game, hasn't he? A great free kick. And what a finish here as well. Lovely ball through. Keeper comes out, a cool head's needed. He watches him come across. Look at him, looking at the keeper. He knows if he gets it past him, he must score. And that's game, set and match.
But is this over the piece the real story of the current scene in Scotland? Celtic are good enough to get close, but when they do, Rangers raise their game. And they're only seconds away from 3 wins out of 3 in the Old Firm clashes this season. McStay. Here's Cleland.
Well, it might be 3-1, Mark, but what a big decision that disallowed cadet goal has proved to be.
Came either side of 2 goals in the last 6 minutes from Eric Boe Anderson. 3-1 when it might have been 2-2. 3-1 when it should have been 2-2. Free kick to Celtic, but it's academic now. Jim McCluskey getting the wall back. Well, tonight's thrill started with a superb Rangers free kick. Van Hooijdonk. Oh. Coming up with a splendid effort of his own, and flying through the air again was the man in white.
Yeah, it's a lovely free kick. Pace and bend. And yet again, when Gorham's required, Gorham's there.
Well, Rangers have done it again. Very hard work, but they came good when it mattered. Eric Boe Anderson, their hero tonight. 2 goals from the substitute. An almost embarrassed smile there as his teammates converge on him. But Jörg Albert started it so encouragingly for the league leaders, and he was involved in so much. 1-0 with that fantastic free kick. But it was Celtic for long periods in the second half, and they did what they hadn't done against Rangers in the 2 other Old Firm games this season. They scored, Paolo Di Canio, but then the bounce went away from Jackie McNamara, the ball went away from him. Albert's teed up Eric Boe Anderson, 2-1. And after Cadet's goal was controversially disallowed, that would have made it 2-2, it was Anderson again. And Rangers wreathed in smiles. Celtic have to take it on the chin again, hoping that they're not totally knocked out of title contention. But now they definitely need the help of other clubs to slow Rangers' proud progress. 3-1 the final score. Let's join Davy Provan.
David, once again, Rangers have delivered here tonight when it most matters. How big a step do you think you've taken tonight in terms of the championship?
Yeah, well, obviously, we need 3 points tonight, and it makes that Celtic make it a wee bit harder for themselves now. But there's still 16 games left, and they've got a couple of games in hand, so it's not all over yet. We've still got a long way to go yet.
Is it all the sweeter, this victory tonight, given the players that you were missing?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you that we don't need Loudon and Goffey. Everyone says it's a 2-man team, but we battled away tonight and got the awards, and hopefully they're watching at home in their sickbed.
Eric, can you describe how you're feeling right now? Because it was your substitution that turned this match on its head, and you haven't been without your critics since you came to Rangers.
Right now I'm in heaven, so I'm very delighted to make sure we got the victory today.
There's been so much talk about you leaving the club, talk about you going to Portugal and Sporting Lisbon. Do you see yourself being a Rangers player next season?
I'm going nowhere, and that has been all the time. There's been a lot of rumours because I've been out for a long time with injuries and so on, but there's nothing to it, so I'm still a Rangers player.
David, how much of this win tonight is down to the spirit of that dressing room?
Well, since I've come here 5 years ago, it's 6 years ago now, we've also had a great determination. When the tough games come, we always seem to come through, and tonight was no different.
Now, your contract's up at the end of the season, of course. Are the Rangers supporters going to see you back here next season?
We'll have to, I hope so, yeah, but there's a long way to go in the football stakes. But I'll just take one game at a time, and I'm enjoying it just now, so.
OK, well, you can start enjoying the new year because you're the man of the match. Eric, will you present the champagne? Congratulations, lads, well done.
Well, Eric Bow Anderson is in heaven. How does that young man feel? In hell right now, I would think. Beaten again, Celtic, here at Ibrox today. 3-1. We'll get the thoughts of Charlie Nicholas and Gordon Smith when we come back on a storming New Year's Day derby. Got a feel for them, haven't you? Poor young lad. And it won't go away. It'll still be 3-1 in the morning as well. And probably the day after that. Celtic beaten in the New Year derby by 3-1. Very sterile affair first half, you'd have to say that. But it really came to life in the second 45 minutes. But Celtic will probably once again be wondering how it went away from them. 4 bookings in total on the night. Di Canio, second half, after he'd scored. Wasn't as bad as Hart's mind when he went off after scoring. First half action areas, look where the ball was for the most part, in that middle third. Second half, all that changed, and quite dramatically as well. Celtic had the best of it and the possession, but they've lost the match 3-1. Here's the Rangers manager, Walter Smith, with Davy Provin.
Walter, I know before this match you tried to play its importance down, but you've just taken 3 crucial points towards the championship. Do you think that was no more than you deserved tonight?
Well, it was a very difficult match. I felt the first half was even. I didn't think either attacks really bothered the opposition defence in any way. Just a terrific free kick from George Alberts to separate the teams. Second half, Celtic had much the better of it. To be fair to my own boys, we've got quite a few of them. We had more than half a dozen of them there struggling from the effects of flu, and we've lost a few, so I expected them to tire, and Celtic put us under a fair bit of pressure in the second half, and on pressure, possibly a little bit difficult in them in terms of the result, but delighted to have won it all the same.
Whose decision was it to play Paul Gascoigne and Andy Gorham? Was it up to the players themselves tonight?
Well, Andy Gorham struggled for a few days, but not as bad as Paul Gascoigne, and Paul's just in the early stages of the flu, so he felt he could play all right. It was difficult for him, but we also have Craig Moore, the same situation, Eric Anderson and Peter van Vossen, so it was a struggle for the whole lot of them, and it was a tough selection for us this evening.
Just how pleased were you for Eric Bow Anderson, because he has been heavily criticised since he came here?
Well, I think that happens to any club. I think people have got to be fair to him. He's never had a great run. His goal-scoring record speaks for itself. If somebody can show me a player with a better goal-scoring record, that's something. They might show me a better player, but I don't know whether they'll show me a better goal-scorer.
So how significant is this win tonight in terms of the championship itself?
Well, like all managers, we still consider we're only into the second half. The consistency that both Rangers and Celtic have shown over the last couple of seasons there would indicate that it's a big result for us. That's us taking 9 points from them. It means that we've created an 8-point gap on them. I know it might look a bit bigger with games in hand, but it was a big result for us. But we're under a fair bit of pressure going to Easter Road on Saturday. That's always a tough match. We've already lost there this season. So no use winning these games and then dropping points elsewhere. And so far this season, we've dropped points against teams when we've been in a winning position, and none of these teams have been Celtic. So we've still got a bit of football to play.
Well, you start at Easter Road on Saturday, as you say. Are you hoping to be in better shape health-wise going into that one?
Well, I'll be very doubtful if we will be. I mean, you know, most of them struggle through tonight's game. I would think that as long as we can manage to get the same gritty performance, I'll be happy. But I would think that we'll have to make a few changes from that team.
Thanks a lot, Walter. Well done tonight.
Thanks, Davey.
Charlie Nicholas and Gordon Smith have been with us all evening. A very different reaction to that result in here. Let's look back at the most important and crucial points of another New Year's Day derby that has gone Rangers' way. Well, is it all over then, Charlie?
I think it is, Richard. I think, OK, there's a lot of games to go. You just can't see Celtic 2 games in hand, 14 behind. You can't see Rangers dropping that amount of points. Plus, the pressure is on Celtic to win every game now.
What an opening. Alberts with the free kick. Absolute screamer. But in truth, that was about the only highlight of the first half, Gordon, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't much goal-mouth action, and Walter Smith alluded to it there. Hardly either defence troubled at all. That free kick bounced awkwardly for Andy Gorham, but really, both teams, I thought, gave each other too much respect. There was probably a little bit too much fear on both sides because of the importance of the game.
He's a character, Charlie, isn't it, Di Canio?
Yeah, he's a big personality, very popular, of course, with the Celtic fans, not with too many others. But after the goal, really, Celtic got the old 1-2 trick again from Rangers, and you just felt that Rangers weren't going to get in it. They needed to change. But when Celtic had started the second half with O'Donnell in the central role, it did make a big difference, and they dominated the second half, to be fair.
Well, there was an appetite, wasn't there? A real desire. As though somebody had said at half-time, hey, do you realise what we're playing for here, how high the stakes are? Van Hooijdonk made a difference when he came on, didn't he? And all of a sudden, they looked like a team that wanted something out of the game.
Yeah, I think Tommy took a bit of a risk when he brought in Van Hooijdonk because he was playing a cagey way, but they were a goal down and he had to do something. And it worked for them because Van Hooijdonk, I thought, stirred things up. He did really well at the goal, laid it on for Di Canio to score. But then all of a sudden, Tommy took another risk in order to go and win the game. And as we've seen in the past, that's what cost him. He took off Stubbs in the central defence, put on another attacking player, left that a little bit of open space, and Rangers exploited it again.
Well, I don't know. I would tend to go along with the fact that it's an error from Jackie McNamara. Maybe even be down as a double error because he should have cleared these lines, put Brian O'Neill in a bit of trouble, and from then, as soon as it went 2-1, the game was over. Rangers were pretty solid after that.
At 1-1 here, you'd have to say that Celtic looked strong. Walter Smith changed things around. He got no legs up front, had he? Bar Anderson came on.
Well, I think they had to change it also, didn't they? Because they were pinned in their own half for so long. But full credit to him, he brought on the two forwards.
You're quite happy with that goal?
I think he's maybe just a bit chuffed, eh?
But the thing was, at that stage, I mean, that was a lovely touch from Van Hooijdonk, to be fair. Look at this, a good tackle by McLaren. And I thought McLaren was outstanding in the game too. But that is a good finish. Very, very cool at the back post. I feel sorry for him being booked. I mean, the importance of the game, what that goal must have made I feel like. Now, the only thing I can think of there is that is a handball, but it looks as if he's given offside, which is a bad decision.
It looked like there from...
This is a good finish. This is not an easy one. That's not an easy finish, that. That's a good finish. Bo Anderson, what a difference he made coming on.
That was a good finish, but you're right. And we've seen a linesman there just reacting, touching his hip, as if maybe it is a handball. There's no way it can be for offside. It's got to be for handball or some other infringement. But this is a cool finish.
Alberts as well, Charlie. I mean, he found Bo Anderson for both goals there with lovely little passes into him, diagonal balls for a good run. That's a great save.
Right. He helped make the two. He scored a fabulous goal. He had, and again, had a very impressive match, probably the best he's played for several weeks. But I had to agree with Andy Gray. I thought David Robertson was outstanding.
And for you then,
Rangers had even more problems with the beginnings of a flu epidemic.